What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our channel, and today we have an interview with Hats Finance. We are joined by Oliver from Hats Finance, as well as Adelia, Head of Marketing at Hats Finance. Guys, welcome to the show. Today we just wanted to find out a bit more about what you all do at Hats Finance, what you're doing in the Web3 space, and also the future of Hats Finance itself. So yeah, maybe we could start by introducing yourself and how Hats Finance came to be, what it is, and how it was founded.
Yes, sure. I can kick that off. My name is Oliver Hör, and I'm with Heads Finance now since 3 years. When Shai, our CTO, had the idea to use these incentive mechanisms to solve some of the big issues we see in crypto security. And I decided to found Heads Finance together with him. And yeah, since then we have grown the team to 13 people, have amazing customers, and built quite a big reputation for us. And starting Heads, I was working in X and then product management, portfolio management. So my last position was in Merck in the CFO strategy, where we managed the innovation portfolio. And then I decided it's time to found our own startup and go to the other side and build something that solves some real problems in the world.
Cool. Well, I've read about your project actually coming from the D.Fi accelerator. And one of the key points that I realized was that Hats Finance has branded itself to be a DeSec protocol. Can you perhaps explain, what does DeSec mean and how does this feed into the overall mission of Hats Finance itself?
Yeah. So the idea behind Hats is that we saw a lot of issues with decentralized security providers. So it's hard to trust them. They handle very sensitive information. For example, if you run a bug bounty program, then someone can submit information on a critical issue. And then you really have to ask yourself, when will the trust to that company fail? Yeah, like if it's a vulnerability where I can steal 1 million, 10 million, 1 billion. Yeah, at some point, if there's a human involved, then there's some risk. So the idea that we had is that we want to make this completely peer-to-peer and on-chain, which as well has the benefit of being scalable. Yeah, like if you remember 2021, then it was incredibly hard to get an audit. Yeah, like usually you would pay like $500,000 and wait 3 to 6 months, and then you would get an audit, but you wouldn't be sure even if the audit quality would be good. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to completely flip this and say, we want to make a liquid market where projects and auditors can meet. There's no risk for the project. They only pay if the auditor provides value. And we can as well tap in a completely global network and allow anyone to participate. And this was the vision of decentralized security. And we're not the only ones. So there has been, of course, this insurance protocol that you could count into decentralized security. And there's as well a new initiative starting there. But for the auditing space and the bug bounty space, we're the only one who's completely on-chain decentralized infrastructure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I totally remember the time where, any project that was audited had to take months to get that, certic symbol or some sort of proof of it being, legit and not a rug pull, especially as, we were all just trying to degen into random yield farms at that point in time. So yeah, so from what I understand, is it the case that you have many economic agents, in this case, that would be the white hat hackers or people who audit various contracts, they come onto your platform and then they get incentivized for whatever bugs they find in the codes of any of the projects that might be listed up there? How does it work in practice?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I really like that you use the word agents, because those agents can be human, but they can as well be AI. So we don't really separate between this vulnerability has been detected by a human or by AI bot. And what we want to do is we want to incentivize good information. But if the vulnerability is real, we believe it would be a big mistake to prohibit AI to participate. And we even believe that even though AI auditing right now is pretty immature and not very powerful yet, it will steadily develop over the next 5 to 10 years and really become a force to be reckoned with. And so we positioned the platform already to allow this coexistence of human auditing and AI auditing to happen, and we will facilitate the economic activity that will happen. So we are not auditing ourselves, but we are building the infrastructure for this. And the way how it works is that the customer can deploy a vault on chain with a pool of money. And this is then an incentive for anyone to find vulnerabilities and disclose them. And the way how it works is that there's like some game theory at play where the different people compete against each other. Only the first one will getting rewarded. And this kind of like very competitive environment pushes everyone to their best, but this is well very worth it for the good auditors. So we have some people that are coming in and they're earning like 40K in our audit competition. So for both sides, the customer and the auditor, it's very, very beneficial.
That's cool. So when you say that economic agents, AI auditors or human auditors can come on your platform and carry out these audits basically, how do you assess or prioritize the different types of risks that are reported? I don't come from a tech background, so maybe that's also good to shed light on how you verify that a report is legitimate.
Yes. So this is an important question. What we usually do is we sit together with the customer beforehand and we define a very clear rule set that is as well trying to be as objective as possible with like hard criteria. And these criteria as well, like published on IFPS. So everyone has, after it launched, even proof of what have been the communicated rules. And then if something is getting submitted, there is the committee of the project that is reviewing the submission and classifying it. If there's then a dispute between the hacker and the customer, we can send it to an expert committee who will do a new triage and together with a decentral court system even force the customer to pay out in case there's any like bad faith things happening. This feature right now is in testing and will be live very soon. And even that aspect, we want to bring completely on-chain, crowdsource, and want to like make it work through incentives because we believe this is the only way how to make it scalable. Yeah, because the system that we are trying to build should be like something truly massive. Like most of the security activity in crypto should happen on our protocol. So we need to make sure that every aspect of it is really scalable, and that includes the incentive dispute resolution.
I see. So just out of curiosity, how many bug requests are actually coming to Hats Finance on a daily basis, especially as forms of auditing of smart contracts is a relatively new concept. How many you actually get a day?
So for the audit competitions, we usually see like 70 to 100. Sometimes if it's a very special audit competition, we can even see 300 submissions, which mostly like 30 out of that are valid. Sometimes it's very secure code and maybe 3 are valid. But I think like between that is the range. And then for the bug bounties as well, I think we get like around 30 submissions a month. Not all of them are valid, but we do have very occasional recurring payouts from the bug bounties when issues have been identified. And I think the important part is that bug bounty payouts, they're not usually high frequency, but they can be like very high volume. So for example, we had someone who found a high severity issue and got paid $60,000, which of course can be pretty life-changing for some of these auditors if for 7 days of work or like 3 days of work, they will get $60,000. So it's not necessarily dependent on that there's like happening transactions every minute. It's more about like what is the quality of the submission and how big is the payout then afterwards.
Wow, so innovative products and really good adoption I'm hearing. So perhaps looking forward, what are the future plans for Hats Finance and what can the community expect in the coming months or years?
So we have basically 2 pathways. Of course, we want to keep providing like the best cybersecurity product in the market, but we as well see huge issues coming to us for AI security. And we believe that if we are running into a future where the AI is controlled by 1 or 2 big companies, but humanity as a whole has really no check and balances to keep this in air control, it could be very dystopian. And so what we want to do is we want to decentralize the check and balances for AI. So we are working right now with a few partners that we will announce soonish doing AI security audits, which can then look like that there's a model that a company wants to prove that it's secure to use. And then AI specialists can prompt it, can like test edge cases. And then if they find maybe that the model is hallucinating and inventing information that's not true, or is maybe going around a security measure. For example, the AI shouldn't be allowed to tell you how to build a bomb, but by a certain prompt, someone was able to force it into giving you a recipe for like explosives or something like that. They can then submit it. And as well, since our tool is completely on-chain and transparent, you will get on-chain proof that this has been identified, this has been fixed, and so on. So this is one major team with us right now. It's like, how can we contribute to this like big move to AI? How can we make it more secure? And we believe that could be one of the things that we can really scale our protocol and use what we have built. The other thing that we are doing is our model is pretty innovative in the audit competition space itself by being in real time. So if something has been identified, it's getting added to the list of issues. Anyone can see that. Fixes can be discussed and fixes can be approved by the team. So in theory, after the competition, you can leave with already audited, fixed, and re-audited code, which is a pretty big for the customer. And so the next step for us there would be, what if the next feature that the customer wants to do is already as well sourced in this kind of crowd mode? So you keep the same crowd engaged always. And so we want to make like an advancement in the distributed code creation. I think what we have seen a lot with these DAOs is that open source code can be governed and can be influenced by decentral governance. But what we have not seen working yet is how can you as well create the product in a distributed way? And since we're already covering like part of this life cycle, we're not covering yet the development cycle, but the auditing and fixing issues cycle, we want to expand verticals. So this is what we're going to do next.
It all sounds really exciting, and yeah, it would be great having, just more robust security in DeFi and more confidence when exploring the DeFi space. So yeah, actually just overall wrapping up the whole interview, I think it's really exciting what you guys are doing, and maybe what is some advice that you would give to new projects looking to enhance their security measures in crypto, and perhaps maybe reiterating the mission of Hats Finance as well.
Yeah. So I'm actually pretty excited about how we're going to bring the community into security. And so maybe I will give it to for a couple of words about what we're going to do there.
Yeah, I think Hats Finance, presents a really interesting opportunity for the users, primarily because, security has not really been within crypto and Web3 that has been democratized, put on chain, and really community owned. And purchasing and holding Hats Finance token, not financial advice, would still undoubtedly give you access, right, to the economic flywheel of the Web3 security. We know to be extremely lucrative and extremely fundamental to the survival of crypto and DeFi in general. So there are a lot of things, users can expect if you are not typically part of the security value chain. So basically, security, the value chain is usually between audit companies, projects, and security researchers. But now Hats Finance will allow community to also be part of this value chain. So from a user perspective, you can also expect like some engaging campaigns, educational content. There will also be working on to deliver personal security related games and products and services. All these are in the pipeline that users might be able to anticipate in the future. As well, also when we launch our DAO, right, in the coming months, users will also be able to vote and shape, the direction of security and the way security is practiced, because their influence is very important and will also help them, make decisions, right, when parking their money in whatever protocol in the future. So I would say, my closing words would be Hats Finance, I think, has a great opportunity for users to be part of the security space for the very first time. And yeah, I hope, everyone look forward to our developments in the future.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for coming on today's show. It's really interesting learning about what you guys do at Hats Finance today and basically helping DeFi become a safer place. Right, so if any of you want to check out what Hats Finance does, links will be in the description down below. And if you like this kind of content, do consider subscribing to this channel and stay tuned. With all that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.